Good morning. I'm Peter Milios from the Finance News Network. Stocks rallied on Tuesday, building on their strong November gains as Wall Street cheated new US inflation data that raised hope of the Federal Reserve wrapping up its rate hiking campaign. CPI was flat last month, while economists polled by Dow Jones expected a gain of 0.1% month over month. So-called core CPI, which stripped out food and energy prices, was also lower than expected and the slowest in 2 years. This instilled optimism into the market that the Federal Reserve could finally end its rate hiking campaign for good. Following the report, Fed funds futures showed that traders had removed any chance of a hike in December from 14% odds prior. Overall, the Dow Jones Industrial Average jumped 1.43%, the S&P 500 rallied 1.91%. It was the best day since April for the broad market index. The Nasdaq Composite jumped 2.37%. Tuesday's gains added to an already stellar performance this month for stocks. The S&P 500 and Dow are up 7.2% and 5.4% respectively in November. The Nasdaq is up 9.7%, on pace for its biggest monthly gain since January. Bank stocks such as Bank of America and Wells Fargo jumped on the hope that the economy could skirt a recession. Shares of Home Depot, which were up 5% on better than expected third quarter earnings, led the gains for the Dow. Enphase Energy, Boston Properties and Solar Edge Technologies, each up more than 10%, led the S&P higher. The Technology Select Sector SPDR Fund, which tracks the tech stocks in the S&P 500, closed at a record high as investors returned to the sector that had been one of the hardest hit by rate hikes. Shares of Tesla gained more than 6%. Turning to all US sectors, all closed higher overnight. Real estate was the best performer, closing 5% higher. Energy recorded the fewest gains. In commodity-related news, Glencore will acquire a majority stake in Teck Resources' coal business for $6.93 billion, marking a strategic move to exit the thermal coal industry and concentrate on metals for the energy transition. They plan to create a new company for the combined coal operations on the New York Stock Exchange within 2 years. Pending Canadian government approval, the deal implies an enterprise value of $9 billion for Teck's coal business. Iron ore spot prices are nearing $130 a tonne. This is the highest level since March 2023. The recent improvement in China's property sector has led to an increase in commodity prices. This fosters optimism that China may increase infrastructure investments as part of its efforts to stimulate the economy, given the significant impact of both sectors on steel demand. The US and Indonesia are in early discussions about collaborating on critical mineral supplies, with a focus on reducing the US's reliance on China for these resources. This initiative was highlighted during a meeting between leaders from both countries at the White House. Looking ahead at the Australian landscape, the SPI futures are pointing to a 1.3% gain. Thank you for listening.